All right, if you're always missing your juggles back to spike, I'm gonna show you why it happens, how to fix it, and some drills to help you make it more consistent. So this trick is specifically for beginners and intermediate players that have been playing Kendama for a little while. If you're an advanced player, you've most likely already had this trick down or have gotten used to this trick and figured out how to actually get your ball to come back around into the spike when you're doing your juggles. When you're doing this specific trick, doesn't matter how you're getting into spike, it only matters how you're actually leaving. There's a few ways you can do it. I'm gonna show you two ways. The first way is to have the ball earth first. So you'll do an earth turn and back on. Earth turn, back on. The second way is to remove the spike and have the ball stay in place here, like that. So you see how the hole isn't necessarily moving? The ball is kind of stagnant in the air like this. There's no rotation at all. That's the two ways to enter into the juggle. For me specifically, I like to do the earth turn because it allows me to have this consistent way of doing things. I would highly suggest that you don't switch between those two techniques. Pick one of them that feels comfortable and then drill that. They both have their upsides and their downsides, but the one that you get comfortable with is the one that's going to be the best. Now the next thing is, how do you hold the Ken when you're doing the juggle? For me specifically, I want to hold the Ken as if I were to throw the Ken. So if I were going to do a regular juggle, like a throw to lighthouse or a juggle, what I would do is I would hold the Ken in a specific way. So for me specifically, I like to hold the Ken with my finger all the way up, choked up to the cups, and then my thumb right under this ring here. So I'm kind of like this. Those are the two main points of contact. Everything else kind of relaxes there at the bottom. You see it here? From here, I like to do my earth turn. So I'll earth turn, and I'll practice that with that grip in mind. Let's go here, earth turn, grip. Earth turn, grip. Few things, make sure that you're practicing the way you would actually throw the Ken and not in some weird position and trying to fix your hand in the middle of the trick. Another thing is make sure that you are bending your knees because it helps you to give you a little bit more time when you're doing this trick. So I know a lot of people don't bend their knees, and I do that a lot, and I don't have to bend my knees when I'm doing this trick specifically. But when you're starting to learn this trick or any trick in general, having this kind of idea of practicing bending your knees is a good habit because it allows you to shift and change levels so that you're able to give yourself more time when you're doing certain tricks. So after you found your grip, where you want to hold it, right here, mine is below, thumb below ring and pointer finger against the cups. You want to make sure you practice and you're used to this earth turn or whatever way you're doing it. Sometimes you can practice this kind of remove from the Ken and the ball, and you can go big cup because it allows you to help to do that, to go into the trick itself. So pick one of those ways, either just removing it or actually doing the earth turn. And then from here, after you get comfortable with the timing of the earth turn, then you can start to do your throw back. So you can start to do the throw part of the Ken. From here, what you want to do is you just want to throw it enough to where the Ken does a single flip and the earth does a single earth turn. People like to freak out at this point, and when they're trying to do this trick, what ends up happening is that they rush it or they try and poke at the ball. A big tip for you is to let the ball just come around naturally and let it just fall on to the spike. You don't want to ever really poke at it because a lot of times you're probably going to miss and you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're not used to, unless you've practiced that way, you're not used to poking at the ball and making it go back into the spike, right? You want to let it fall and let it be very natural when you're doing your throw. You want to do single single flips. So that's another thing you can practice there. Here, switching off to the juggle. The most important part, and if you've missed this part, or if you stop the video, sucks for you, because this is the most important part, is how to control the actual ball. For me, I figure out how much I need to actually rotate the ball in order for me to manipulate it with my hand and to get it to spin the extra way around. So from here, when I'm actually trying to control the ball, I'm not actually just doing a full one whole earth turn. I'm actually doing half earth turn, because the other half, my hand's gonna do the rest. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to throw it up, and it's gonna be around here, half the spin. When it's around half the spin, I'm going to switch, and then my hand is going to hit it here and then push it forward. The hole's away from me, hit it, push it forward. What that'll do is allow the hole to come around. All I have to do now is let the earth down. I hold the can under the ball and allow it to fall in. And that's all you really need to do. So that's the biggest part that you need to practice, is that you need to make sure that you're throwing it up lightly to where it only does that half spin. That half spin. You do that half spin. You do that half spin. Any more, it's going to be not really working in your favor. Let's reset and talk about these things again. Once you get into spike, from here, you're going to get into your position already. You're going to do your half earth, single juggle back to the can. And then your ball, once you touch the ball or do the juggle, you're going to lightly, you're not going to grip onto the ball, you're going to lightly catch it and rotate your hand like so, this way. Boom. Here. You don't want to grab it and then try and do that, because sometimes your sweaty hand makes the ball go all funny, or you can't control it as well as lightly catching it and then rotating the ball like so. From there, all you let it do, fall back onto the can. Here are some practice drills that you can use in order to get this better. So what I would suggest is you could do these two practice drills. You can practice your big cup, juggle the big cup, and practice being intentional, not necessarily catching the juggle, but making the ball and practicing the turn with the ball specifically. So you go here, and then you'll practice that turn. Practice the turn. Practice the turn. It's going to feel weird because you're just going back onto big cup, but it's okay. The idea is that you're trying to have a light toss with the ball. Here, light toss. Practice that. That's the first drill. The second drill is to practice your juggle to lighthouse. When I started playing and started doing juggles, my first juggle wasn't spike to spike. It was from the bottom to lighthouse. The reason why I think this is a great drill is because it allows you to practice the timing of actually flipping it just once, because you have to land it on a single lighthouse, and helps you to practice to not freak out when it lands on lighthouse. You can settle it until it's in balance, and then you can go in for the spike. So I think this is actually a really great all-around trick to practice to make your juggling better. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice these drills. The first drill is doing big cup, juggle, back to big cup, 5 times in a row consecutively without missing. So when you're doing that, that'll keep you consistent and honest. If you're actually able to juggle, this will help you to build consistency with just juggling in general. And even if the string gets caught, or like you're not flipping it properly, that's okay, because you're just practicing this juggle. Okay. The next things you can do is that you can do your lighthouse, your juggle to lighthouse, 5 times in a row. Once you can get that without freaking out and learning how to balance it, I think it gives you enough skill to learn and master your juggle back to spike. So remember, the most important thing about juggling in general is ball control. Learning how to manipulate the ball with your hand softly and making sure that when you're catching the juggle and you're finishing off with the Ken, you're allowing the ball to spin all the way back around and fall, not poke, fall back into the spike. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what else tutorials you guys want. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching.